welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Three years ago, the New England Patriots were among the NFL's elite. But Pete Carroll has seen this team and this season spin out of control. In Baltimore, quarterback Tony Banks has led a reversal of fortunes. The Ravens, winners of 4 straight, are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And around, so we'll come back with the kick after this. 44 degrees at game time. The wind chill 39 degrees in the forecast. Beasley, cloudy skies here today. It rained earlier this morning. As you see, Stover has it teed up, and we're underway. Taken at the 2, Troy Brown. Brown heading to the far sideline, 30, 35, 40. 45 to the 50. And Troy Brown with a tremendous return to the 44-yard line of Baltimore. 54-yard kick. And here comes Drew Bledsoe, the 7-year pro out of Washington State. Nearing 4,000 yards this season. 18 touchdowns with 20 interceptions. He told us not happy with those numbers despite nearing 4,000 yards passing. The second half of the season, disastrous. He's the only quarterback to attempt all passes for his team this season, and he starts with a throw out of the backfield, and it's caught down to the 42-yard line, taken down by Troy Brown. Let's set that New England offense. Up front, Armstrong. Lane gets a start at left guard. Damian Woody, Rucci, and Moss. Back to the receivers, Allen and Carter, the running backs. The wideouts, Jefferson and Brown, and the tight end, the 5-time Pro Bowler, Ben Coates. A pickup of 2, 2nd down and 8. Brown, the motion man. 2 wideouts to the far side. Brown, little pitch and catch to the 40. And lowers his shoulder down to the 38-yard line. So a pickup of 3. Deron Jenkins, the right corner. Deron Jenkins.
You know, the absence of wide receiver Terry Glenn is glaring out here. This is a guy who suspended for bending team rules, wouldn't come in and take treatment for having the flu. And so Pete Carroll told him he's not playing.
3rd down, in trouble. Bledsoe sacked again. 54th time that Bledsoe has gone down. That's 3+ a game. And Siragusa, the Goose, who is broad, barely get 98 across there, picks up the sack. And Beasley, his 17th time he's gone down in the last 3 ball games.
See, this is tough. 53 sacks, that's the most in his career, now 54. So Drew Bledsoe, you can explain some of those interceptions simply by the fact that he's been killed all season long.
They'll go shotgun on 4th down. Troy Brown and Vincent Brisby. They stack it up to the near side. Bledsoe throws. Corner route. Incomplete.
Well, they had what they wanted. They got one-on-one with the running back and a linebacker and almost hit.
Looking for Terry Allen, the intended receiver. Sacks. Beasley, as you mentioned, a problem last week.
Yeah, this guy was knocked down 6 times. I mean, you got no chance when Buffalo is all over you. Bruce Smith there with the sack. So Drew Bledsoe, and they still had a chance to win the game despite him getting knocked down, missed some field goals. So this is a team that really has fallen apart, lost 6 of the last 7, and then on the other side of the field, Baltimore is just on a roll.
Vinatieri, as you mentioned, missed a couple of field goals, one in regulation, one in overtime. Flags are down. That stops play. Baltimore comes in one of the hottest teams in the National Football League. Won 4 in a row, 6 of the last 8.
False start, offense number 69. 5-yard penalty, it remains 1st down.
Today's referee, Phil Luckett.
Now let's take a look at some of the sacks that have been happening to this guy. Look at 1999. And then look at the numbers prior to that. In 93, only sacked 16 times. So this team, when it comes to protection, has just had a horrible season.
Tony Banks Banks with the handoff. And that's Priest Holmes, number 33, and Henry Thomas cut him up underneath. Tony Banks, in his 4th season out of Michigan State, came over with that trade with the Rams a year ago. And look at the touchdown to interception ratio.
That's amazing.
Nearly 2,000 yards passing.
Second down and 12.
Tony Banks has always been a big talent. I consider the art of throwing, I consider him next to Jeff George when it comes to just the ability to throw the ball. Now, obviously, two guys that need to prove that they can win something big, but certainly the talent to throw, Tony Banks.
Baltimore happy to run the football here early.
Chuck Evans and Harry.
Brandon Mitchell bringing down the fullback Chuck Evans.
Brandon Mitchell.
We set out Baltimore's offense in the front of Ogden. Mulatalo, Mitchell, Blackshear, and Everett Lindsay.
Brings up 3rd down.
Backing receivers, Priest Holmes and Chuck Evans. The wideouts, Johnson and Ismail, along with the tight end Greg DeLong. From the shotgun, 3rd down. Banks, good protection, throws a dart, little fumble as Priest Holmes short of the 1st down at the 47-yard line. Chris Slade made the tackle. Slade, a 7-year pro out of Virginia, and that will bring up a 4th down and a punting situation for Tony Banks and company.
You know, you look at a game like this and you say, where's the motivation? Where's the energy going to come from? Baltimore would like to finish the season 9-7, have a winning season. Pete Carroll, if this is his last game, would certainly like to go out on a winning note. This New England team has been embarrassed the second half of the season, so they like to win this game. There is a reason to fight today.
Kyle Richardson, high kick, takes a bounce at the 1-yard line, no return. 53-yard kick by Kyle Richardson. And New England will have it at the 20. Bledsoe back after this. Well, despite the down year in New England, 61st consecutive sellout here in Foxborough. And the future of that man, some say it's done. That's some.
That's a lot of folks. I think even Pete Carroll recognizes this guy's been coaching a long time. He recognizes this is his last game as a head coach here.
On the ground, Terry Allen. Right up the middle, gain of 6 to the 26. Brown and Lewis team up to make the tackle. Want to go to the games? You can be there. Playoff tickets are available online through NFL.com.
Second down and 3.
No white 2K problem for you?
No. I can put the water out of the basement in the trash cans and take the canned food and take it back to the store, turn in the generator.
There you go. Pick up the 7. Second down, 3. Again, handoff. Allen. Nothing fancy right now for New England. They want to run the ball against a very good run defense for Baltimore. Ranks number 2 in the AFC. Beasley, this club giving up less than 79 yards a game on the ground.
Take a look at Allen. Nice little bend back on this play. That's what the great players do. See him start to the right side and then look at the cutback into the cutback hole. So it's up to the safeties and linebackers to fill that hole. They didn't do it very well. That's a nice run.
Ravens defense ranked number 3. Total yards allowed. Number 1, yards allowed per play. Number 2 in rushing yards allowed. They've had a tremendous year. One reason why you have 4 Pro Bowlers on the defensive side. Pass by Bledsoe incomplete.
I love this defense, and you will love it too. This is one of the best defensive front sevens in the National Football League. In fact, as a team, the Baltimore Ravens are the team on the rise right now. When you want to look over the next couple of years and say who will dominate the league, I predict for you right now that Coach Billick is going to be called one of the top coaches in the league over the next couple of years, and this team is going to run and run quickly.
Double tight end set. Again, the ball carrier. Terry Allen knocked down by Sharper.
I want to show you some of the defensive Pro Bowlers and one of the reasons that I talk about this team so highly. Rod Woodson is being credited with one of the catalysts making this a successful turnaround season. Ray Lewis is the best in the game. I don't talk to anybody. Mike McCrary has more sacks over the last 50-some-odd games than anybody in the National Football League. And Peter Bower is a Pro Bowler. I love this team.
And he plays with a sling.
And he's got a swing. They figured they would lose him around midseason. His shoulder has been so painful, but he has stuck it out throughout the entire season.
They set up the screen through the hands, incomplete. That was Lamont Warren to the intended receiver. And boy, we're going to hear boos, I think, all day, Beasley.
Well, Patriots fans are great fans. I've done a lot of games in this building and in this town. They deserve better than what happened today, this season. They deserve to have a playoff team. Talk about teasing your fans. You jump out 6-2 and then lose 6 of the last 7. That's not fair.
Jermaine Lewis at the 29. And Lewis maybe a yard up to the 31-yard line. Ravens will have it. 35-yard kick and a 2-yard return. Welcome back to Foxborough. Craig Buller-Jack, Beasley Reese with you. Final week of the NFL season. Week 17, where has it gone?
I know, man. This has been so fast. And it's been just a crazy season.
Well, some new teams have emerged. One's right here, Baltimore. The other, St. Louis. The Colts. Banks throws out of the backfield. Caught on the run. Priest Holmes out of bounds near the first down marker at the 41. Brewski made the tackle. Get the most in-depth analysis on NFL matchups and the matchup breakdown. Plus, check out the complete playoff scenario. Just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com.
Tony Banks talked to us about improving the short throw. In our meeting with him, he said, I want to throw the underneath throws. I've been taking those for granted. He makes a perfect strike on the last play.
Second down and short from the 41. And not much. Good surge by New England's front. And Tony Banks, Beasley, what an incredible turnaround from a year ago.
So here he is, and the bitter irony against New England, he hurts his knee last year. That ended his season. Ends up coming to Baltimore in a trade. Look at the numbers and focus your eye on 1999. This is a guy with 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He has learned how to be a pro.
2 wide receivers to the far side. 1st and 10 from the 41. Banks a pocket type passer. Oh, just got it over the outstretched arm of Chris Slade, and he hooks it up with Kadri Ishmael.
Now see, this is what I'm talking about when you look at Tony Banks. This is the ability to throw the ball. This is a beautiful pattern by Kadri. Look at him force his guy back. As soon as this guy opens his hips and starts to run back, he cuts it off and comes back toward a perfectly thrown ball. Tony Banks has a beautiful arm.
Career year for Kadri Ishmael. 2 guys really have turned it around.
Yeah.
I mean, Banks for one, Ishmael the other. 64th reception. And another first down for Baltimore at the 48-yard line of New England. Little pitch back, breaking a tackle. Priest Holmes to the 40. Holmes, 205-pounder. Not a big guy at 5'9", but able to break a couple of tackles. Chris Slade brought him down.
Let me tell you something. This was not supposed to work. This is a play. It's an old-fashioned college sweep. Watch the power with which, the attitude with which Priest turns it up. There's nothing there. He literally runs through a major tackle. It's pretty good blocking, some help. But, boy, that's a great individual effort by Holmes. That's hitting the hole.
Well, what's impressive about Holmes, barely 6 yards per carry on the season. Stacked up, spins out of the tackle to the 33-yard line. Boy, Priest Holmes playing like he needs a contract.
Okay, I'm starting to see something here. I hope I don't see what I think I see. When a team stops tackling, I mean, you have to tackle the guy. And come on. I mean, he's good, but we're not talking about this is not Barry Sanders we're talking about here. I mean, it's a nice run. Runs in the back of people. There's 1 miss. There's 2 misses. We'll see.
Priest Holmes, 4 carries, 18 yards. Banks the quick 3-step drop. Throws far sideline. Fumble. Picked up New England. And right there is the definition of second effort biting you in the backside.
It's also a great example of tackling and rushing to the ball. I just talked about making tackles. Well, this is the way you make a tackle. They grab the guy's arm, they pull it loose, and because everyone's hustling to the ball, they come up with a turnover.
Well, Serwanga, the left corner, forced the fumble. Willie McGinnis, the 6-year pro out of USC, a former #1 round draft pick in '94, was right there to pounce on the football and stops a Baltimore drive. And New England now 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. In motion, Troy Brown. Bledsoe throws out of the backfield. And to the 37-yard line is Tony Carter, and McAllister, the left corner, made the tackle. Monday on CBS, CY Entertainment Weekly calls The King of Queens one of the 4 best shows on TV. Kevin James and Jerry Stiller star in The King of Queens. That's Monday right here on CBS.
Jerry Stiller.
Still around.
Stiller around. That's a funny man.
2nd down 7. Maybe to the 40. And Terry Allen getting a lot of work here early in this game. Last week against Buffalo, 27 carries, 126 yards, and a 14-yard touchdown. The only touchdown by New England's gone-away offense.
Yeah. And that's against the #1 defense in the National Football League. Allen so far today, 4 for 18. This guy has had a lot of major injuries, but he has come back to have a very productive year.
Patriots spread it out offensively. 3rd down. Call it for Bledsoe. Chase down in the pocket on the run. Throws. Incomplete. Boy, Bledsoe running for his life around the 32-yard line. Bullware was there along with Burnett. And you can hear again the grumblings and rumblings here in Foxborough.
Well, there was just nothing available to Drew. Drew is another one of those great passers in the league. Effortless. He's so big. There's nothing downfield. So, look, he's trying to outrun one of the fastest defenses in the league. They are lucky to be able to get that ball away.
Lee Johnson, the boot. Inside the 20 is Jermaine Lewis. And Lewis taken down by the shoe tops at the 21-yard line. Looked like Morey, 85, a special teams tackle. 41-yard kick, a 3-yard return. And welcome back into Foxborough. There's a head coach of Baltimore in his first season. Brian Billick signed a 6-year contract back in January. Had a great conversation with him yesterday. He's a believer in this guy. Banks going over the middle, caught at the 46-yard line. Patrick Johnson.
Now, look, I told you the guy can throw. He is a thrower of the football. This is a, you know what, let me take that back. He's not a thrower, he's a passer. You know, he's like a great golfer with a beautiful swing. He just has a beautiful motion, effortless. Take a look at it. Look at the setup. Look at the dance. Look at that release. This man is beautiful.
25-yard pass play. Banks to Johnson. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line.
Is it wrong for me to recognize beauty in another man? It's a beautiful throw.
Beasley, do what you have to do. Let's go back and talk Billick, because really we had a great conversation. Here's a guy, and Beasley being a former player, he came out and said, you know what, I came in, looked around, said, you know what, you guys are men. There's no bet check.
Right.
Do what you have to do. I trust you completely, and you know what? It shows on this football field.
I love the guy, and I'll tell you right now, I think they signed him to a 6-year contract. They need to give him an extension right now. I think within the next 2 or 3 seasons, we'll be calling him the best coach in the league. I can smell a good coach. The guy smells like a good coach.
2nd down 5. Holmes hits the hole hard, still on his feet, and picks up the 1st down at the 42. Lawyer Malloy finally brought him down.
It might be brute cologne that I smell, but I think it's a great coach. And here's a class of guys who came into the league and taking over teams. Look at Gunther. Gunther Cunningham did a great job at Kansas City. Now, I don't say, you know, Mike Holmgren, Ray Rhodes, George Seifert, those guys, they've been around. But overall, the new coaches have done a good job, and Brian Billick has a chance to be right there with them with a 9-7 season if he can win today.
5th first down for Baltimore from the 43-yard line. Stumbling past the 35 to the 32. Priest Holmes, right now, he's got a game ball.
Look, would somebody tackle Priest Holmes? Priest Holmes is like, if you're a Star Wars fan, you remember the Klingons could cloak. They could disappear for like 3 seconds. Okay, then right here, he cloaks. He's disappearing on these guys. Nobody's tackling. The Patriots have got to do a better job than that.
Averaging just under 6 yards a carry. 6 carries, 35 yards. Taking a breather. Baltimore methodically moving downfield. Another first down. Their 6th. Banks sets, fires. Hit the sweet spot, didn't he?
And I tell you what he did too. He threw it on the side away from the defender. He was actually leading this guy to catch it and spin away for a touchdown. You won't believe this replay. Watch this. He's going to throw the ball to the out. See the corners coming to the inside. He throws it to the outside where the guy can catch it and spin and go. And it's a drop.
Billy Davis out of Pittsburgh, signed as a free agent this season. Had it and dropped it. Banks, his first incompletion, Beasley, 5 of 6 for 50 yards.
Should be an asterisk by the incompletion.
Banks wins it out. It's Priest Holmes. Nice little move at the 32. The 21-yard line. Slade made the tackle for New England.
Holmes is killing the Patriots. And the Patriots are flying around, flailing at Priest Holmes. There's nobody breaking down, trying to make a tackle. They are flailing at him.
Well, Priest Holmes usually is not considered much of a receiver. Only 7 catches coming in. Beasley, how about this? Brian Billick says we're going to go to Priest Holmes. 3 receptions, 24 yards. Banks fires. Little bullet crossing pattern. Patrick Johnson breaks the tackle down the sideline. Inside the 10 to the 7. And Tony George, the free safety, made the stop. And again, you can hear it. 1, 2, 3. 3 misses, and the boos are coming.
So I won't be able to go to Boston and shop or anything without being beat up. These guys are horrible. You have got to make that tackle. So that's it for Boston for me. I won't be able to go. I won't be able to take the train into Boston. I get kidnapped.
I'll go with you. First and goal from the 8. Flags are down. Priest Holmes, bang it to the 1, but flags are down. Lawyer Malloy says, you know what, Beasley, I still want to fight, and he sticks him, stands him straight up.
That's why Lawyer Malloy is going to the Pro Bowl. But once again, Priest Holmes runs through grown men and almost takes a group of Patriots into the end zone.
Eric Rhett will check in as Priest Holmes gets a breather. Well, we start the second quarter here in Foxborough, scoreless, but yet Baltimore, well, they're knocking on the door. In fact, it's half open. They're inside the 1-yard line, looking at 2nd and goal. 9th play of this drive as Banks goes under center. DeLong in motion to the tight end. Handoff. It's Rhett. Off the left side and did not get in. Lawyer Malloy, the strong safety, able to plug up the hole, and that'll bring up 3rd down and goal.
You know, they should give it to Priest Holmes.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots are afraid of Priest Holmes.
Well, you look at the first quarter numbers. 74 total yards for Baltimore. 9 generated by Drew Bledsoe in New England. 3rd down and goal, just inches away from the goal line. Jeff Mitchell, ball in hand. Rhett again, no. Ted Johnson, the middle linebacker, who had 14 tackles a week ago against Buffalo, plugging up the middle, and that brings on the field goal unit.
Well, Johnson reads this hole perfectly and steps into it. The good linebackers from the opposite side of the line, you can actually see the hole open up. So you think like a running back. You run into the line where the hole opens, you run into the hole, and I promise you there will be a running back there. And that's what happened for Ted.
Well, Stover had the 5 field goals a week ago against Cincinnati. This will be from 19 yards. He's made 17 in a row, make it 18. And so Stover continues the streak, and from 19 yards puts Baltimore on top, 3-0. 13 13:33 remaining in the opening half here in New England. 11 plays, 78 yards, nearly over 5.5 minutes on the clock. And Stover, who's kicking away with a 19-yard field goal. High hanger, short, taken at the 10 by Troy Brown. Brown heading to the near sideline at the 30. Brown at the 35-40 at midfield, and to the 43-yard line goes Troy Brown, and guess who got it? Matt Stover saved the touchdown at the 42-yard line. That's where Bledsoe will have it. 48-yard return, and the Patriots in business. 13:20 remain. Second quarter, Baltimore up by 3, but New England, after that incredible 49-yard return, in good field position at the 41.
Well, Drew Bledsoe is struggling. I mean, this is a guy that we know he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, but really what he's done this year, especially the back half of the season, has been really disappointing. You see here, after starting out with a 13-4 ratio, only 5 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. He's gonna bust the 4,000-yard marker, but even Drew would tell you that he has not been the good Drew.
And he told us via phone he has no explanation. He's had a loss.
Oh, I can tell him. He's sacked 54 times.
First 8 games, 22 sacks. The last 7, 31. Threads it perfectly this time to his tight end, the 5-time Pro Bowler, Ben Coates.
And see, there's a problem with this offense right now, and I blame Drew for this partly because Drew knows to say, we have got to use Ben Coates more. These guys have not been using Ben. Ben Coates is a guy who has caught as many as 60-plus passes. That's not explainable. You can't explain that.
That's less than half. Less than half. Bledsoe again to the air. He's throwing some hot strings right now. Troy Brown makes the catch. So they go across the middle. They come back near side at the hash.
And I don't care what anybody says. Ben Coates has always ignited this offense. There's a Ben Coates catch, and then you see they come back to a receiver, Troy Brown, because when they throw one to Ben Coates, all of the defensive coaches respect him so much they start doubling him. When you double Ben, now you got receivers and people open.
Double tight end set on the ground, going for the first down.
Shaw, the ball carrier.
Shaw, the ball carrier. Harold Shaw and Siragusa, the goose, making the stop. Ravens, or Patriots that is, inside the red zone. Beasley, 43 opportunities. They've produced only 16 touchdowns and had to settle for 19 field goals.
Pete Carroll starting to pace and get excited because I'll tell you, this is a guy who needs to come out with a win today. He needs to beat a good football team. It is short by the length of a 6-year-old child's left hand.
About an inch and a half, maybe 2. That brings up third down. You talk about red zone. They rank the Patriots 29th in the National Football League. Clock running. Third down, quarterback keeper. First down is Bledsoe. Goes off the right side behind his right tackle, Moss. So now first and goal, New England at the 7-yard line.
Drew Bledsoe is such a competitor, always has been. Great at everything, athletically, all his life. So there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of pain on this team. There's a lot of pain on the New England Patriots. These are guys who thought they were going to be Super Bowl contenders. So now they just have to get a score and start from there. Start the new millennium off right.
Yeah, 4-0 to start the season, 6-2 at the break. Bledsoe pedals back, throws incomplete. And the intended receiver was the fullback, Chris Floyd. Bledsoe inside the red zone. 8 touchdowns, 1 pick.
We talked about the front 7 for the Baltimore Ravens, as does everybody else in my business. They are loved. A lot of talent in quiet defense. Ranked third in the league.
Second down and goal. Troy Brown in motion from the eye. Not much. Terry Allen chopped down, maybe lost a yard back to the 9. McCrary and Ray Lewis, 2 Pro Bowlers with good pursuit. Well, there's a player. Ray Lewis averaging nearly 13 tackles a game, and then you got the rush man, McCrary.
Mike McCrary stands up. Former All-Pro Bruce Armstrong neutralizes him, plays a 2-gap technique. That means I grab my guy and hold him, neutralize him. If the guy goes inside, I throw him away and go inside. If he goes outside, I throw him the other way and go outside. Perfect 2-gap technique by McCrary.
Third down conversions. You see New England 1 of 4. Now a timeout. Bledsoe will take a stroll. Wants to talk to Pete Carroll, and we'll be back. And a happy new year. Hard to believe it's 2000.
Yes, it is. I remember being a little kid doing the math to see if I'd be alive.
You made it.
I made it, baby. Patriots are about to make it. They haven't scored a first-half touchdown since November 21st in Miami.
That's unthinkable. Bledsoe throws. Back in the end zone. No. Oh. You got to at least give 3 points to Coates for the catch.
This is a man you don't throw to all season? Somebody explain that. That's inexplicable. Is that a word?
It is now.
Okay. Watch this. In the back of the end zone, this guy, look at this. And did you see him try to keep both feet in? He threw that left heel down. Man, what a great effort. This is a Pro Bowler wasted.
Vinatieri from 25. Chip shot up and good. And just like that, we're tied up at 3. What about Pete Carroll's future? Well, the day will go on. Well, Ben Coates talking about what could have been. Almost 6. New England had to settle for 3. Vinatieri from 25 yards. That's his 4th straight season being over 100 points. 102 this season. And the kick taken inside the 5 by Corey Harris at the 3. Harris heading to the sideline. Wrapped up. And down at the 17-yard line. Special team stop again by Sean Morey, number 85. Well, coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, join Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry to get you caught up on all the scores and highlights. Plus, Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms preview the Dolphins-Redskins game. That's coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report.
I'm going to tell you why Pete Carroll should keep his job. Silence in the booth.
I'm waiting.
I'm going to tell you why after this play.
Under 10 minutes left in the half. 3-3 tie here in Foxborough. Tony Banks stumbling out of the pocket. Nearly stopped, now back on his motor and falls at the 20. A couple of yards the hard way. Willie McGinnis tripped him up.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened there, because Tony Banks is a fine athlete. I think he just I think it was the 13 or 14 yard line, because sometimes those yard lines, actually his center, I believe, stretched out to make the block. Jeff Mitchell, left leg got a little wide and Tony tripped over it. You're keeping people in suspense about why Pete Carroll should keep his job.
Yeah, doing a good job.
Okay.
Pick up a 3, second down 7. Play action, Banks pumps, tops and runs. Banks, nice hook slide up to the 25. So Banks just picking up 2 here, 3 there. I'll bring up a 3rd down. All right, the table is yours.
Let's go with Pete Carroll here. Wild season. That's the reason this man should keep his job. First of all, who's out there? Who's out there available? Some people gave up on Minnesota this season around mid-season. The Bucs lost early, then they went on a 6-1 run. Seattle started 8-2 and lost 4 in a row. Miami started out 7-1. They're 9-6 now. New England was 6-2. What's the difference?
Ooh, nearly intercepted. Banks went near side and the receiver cut, and that's Patrick Johnson inside. So a 4th down.
You know, I get the sense that people in Boston were telling me to shut up.
Well, ultimately, Bees, who's going to have the decision on Pete Carroll is the owner, Bob Kraft.
Yeah. Well, he's had, you know, Pete's been given 3 seasons. He took over a Super Bowl team. They went to the championship game and lost. Went to a playoff game and lost. Now out of the playoffs. So, you know, the head man's got to take the blame for that. I was just looking for a way to say this has been a crazy year in the NFL.
It has. Troy Brown's had a tremendous day returning. Here he goes again. Brown at the 30, 25 to the 22. He is eating up Baltimore's kick coverage. Kim Herring saved the touchdown. 51-yard kick, and it was a beauty, but a 53-yard return.
Troy Brown is playing. I don't know how many people are playing football on the Patriots today. I know nobody's tackling anybody, but Troy Brown is playing some football. 2 great kickoff returns. He found the back door there and almost went the distance. And Drew Bledsoe, you know, something like that can ignite a team. Now look at Drew. Everybody's fired up now. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
Well, I tell you, New England has not had a problem of field position in this game. Thanks to those kick returns. And it's a quick hit to the near side. And reaching out for the first down, Sean Jefferson, tackled by Deron Jenkins. And now look at the relaxed attitude Drew Bledsoe brings out.
Yeah. And they caught him in the right defense, man-for-man coverage. Sean Jefferson, a middle-aged, by NFL terms, speedster out of Central Florida, goes up and runs an out route, and it's an easy throw and catch.
You know, Sean Jefferson, you got to love these stories. How 9th-round picks stick around. He was originally picked up by the Houston Oilers back in '91. But 9th-round picks this day and age, they don't stick.
Yeah, that was me. I was a 9th round. It's a hard road from the 9th round.
On the ground, little dancing by Terry Allen. Picks up maybe 1, 2. Jamie Sharper makes the tackle. It's about desire.
It really is about desire. And most low-round, high-round draft choices, meaning 8th, 9th rounders, 7th rounders, free agents, they feel like they have something to prove. So you see a lot of those guys go above and beyond. They know they have to study more. They know they have to impress the team from day one. So a lot of these guys end up making some nice careers.
3 wide receivers set on second down. Bledsoe all day to throw. Flags her down. Throws the flat, complete. Tony Carter, the fullback. That was not his primary receiver as he looked to the end zone. Sharper makes the tackle, but a flag is down around the 6-yard line. See another low-round draft pick, Merrill Hodge. Remember him?
Defense, number 51. 5-yard penalty with an automatic. First down.
Well, the ultimate late-round draft choice would be Terrell Davis. You know, the guy goes on to grab a couple of championship rings and a household name in sports.
Yeah, look what happened. Elway was the great Elway, but until they got Terrell,
that's right,
no ring.
Nothing was happening.
Dances outside, stumbles and falls at the 4. Jenkins, with the right corner, got him around the ankle top. Clock running, coming up on the 6-minute mark here in the first half.
That was a real good run. Just a good effort guy. You know, Allen has been a leader. There are some leaders on this football team. That's why the collapse is so difficult to explain. You've got a veteran like Allen who is an inspiration, a guy who never gave up despite horrible knee injuries.
Second down and goal. Allen off the left side, squeezes down to the 1. What is it, Beasley, about grass versus turf, especially for Terry Allen? On grass this season, nearly 4 yards a carry and 7 touchdowns. On the artificial stuff, it's 2+ and a touchdown.
I'll tell you why. It's the knee injuries. See, a guy is worried about playing on turf. He's probably much more comfortable on a natural surface when you're recovering and have the memories of bad injuries. I think he probably just lets it loose.
Third down and goal at the 1. And now Phil Luckett steps in, and a timeout whistled by New England. And that stops the clock with 5:08 remaining in the second quarter. And Bledsoe will trot over to talk to head coach Pete Carroll. Last week, Beasley, for Drew Bledsoe, 101 yards.
Yeah, and his previous lows, you had to go back to 1993, his first year in the league, to find that type of performance. So, you know, it's been a tough year for Drew. But, you know, if Drew is captain in the ship, I'll go down with him.
Bledsoe so far 6 of 12. And he threw it to number 86. Bartram, the third string tight end. Looked like a pulling guard coming through.
Yeah, he comes from the other side of the football field, all the way across the underneath part of the formation, fools everybody, as evidenced by the fact that he's all alone. What a great play.
Vinatieri will try the extra point. And the kick is up and good. So Bledsoe with his 19th touchdown throw. And New England and Pete Carroll leading Baltimore by a score of 10-3. We'll be back. Well, coming up next, many of you will see Dan Marino. The Dolphins take on Brad Johnson and the Redskins, or other will see Eddie George and the Titans that take on Jerome Bettis and the Bucs. And the Steelers. Check your local listings, beginning with Jim, Craig, Randy, Jerry on the NFL Today.
As far as the playoffs are concerned, Miami winning or losing means nothing. They have to watch to see what Seattle does to the Jets and Kansas City does to Oakland. If Seattle wins and KC wins, Miami is out no matter what they do.
Hard kick. 2 yards deep. Corey Harris takes a knee. And Beasley, this is the first half touchdown in 12 quarters for New England.
Watch Mike Bartram here. He's going to fool everybody. Come from the opposite side of the football field. The defensive players completely lose him. And boy, is he all alone. That's just a well-designed play. You know, you do that. You look at film. You see how quickly the linebackers pursue or commit to play fakes, and you design plays like that. And Pete Carroll and his team did a great job on that one.
Boy, Bartram, they just hide him whenever they need him for a touchdown. 2 career receptions, 2 touchdowns.
Okay, that's pretty good.
How about that average?
That's good.
Moving with a 7-point lead. Banks under pressure. Down. Banks takes his seat at the 14, and Henry Thomas broke through. And that's going to be his second sack of the season, and the 36th for this New England defense.
Yeah, that's a blocking error by the offensive line, because they had everybody taken care of. And then at the last second, somebody came off Thomas.
Thomas been around a long time. 13 seasons. A loss of 6. Banks again slapped by trouble. Throws and traffic complete at the 29-yard line, and it's Ishmael. Tony George, the free safety, made the tackle.
Look at the beautiful pattern by Kadri, pushing off of his man, finding a spot in the zone, and just wait. You know, you try to sit down around that first down spot and wait for the quarterback to find you. Not enough for the first down, but almost.
Here's a great turnaround as well. No receptions in 97 or 98. He called it his wilderness experience. And he has come back strong to have a career year. On the fingertips, caught, stops the clock at the 32, and a nice catch by Johnson. Yeah, career year. Beasley touchdowns, receptions, and yards for Kadri.
You know, we talked to him yesterday, and it was amazing. He says that, first of all, the teammates call him Mr. Gadget. He's got everything in the world that he keeps with him, you know, things that help him be a good player. His keys, consistency, production. He says a receiver has to understand third down and make big plays. He's been doing that this year.
Banks stumbles, but able to hand the ball off to Priest Holmes. And he'll get a couple to the 37. Thomas again made the tackle. You know, he said he learned a lot from Mr. Carter up in Minnesota. Said, you know what? If you play or practice like you play, you can play a long time in this league.
Yeah, he saw him make a catch and said, wow, practice like that. So Mr. Gadget went crazy. He said, I'm going to take a football with me. This is a medicine ball. This is a baseball. This is a contraption that goes onto his arms and allows him to feel exactly where he's putting his hands when he's practicing catching balls. He catches over 100 balls a day using those little tools.
And the Gadget man indeed. Banks flush down to the pocket, flags, and that's going to mean holding at the 2:46 mark of the second quarter.
You know, and I'm telling you about these gadgets. He carries this stuff in a bag with him and more. That's just some of the things that he carries. He didn't even want it out of his sight for us to photograph it.
No.
These are things he straps on that strap, and it goes around his waist and connects to his hands, so that he says he wants to feel where his hands are in space when he's practicing catching. So this is a guy that is going literally crazy. He uses the baseball and catches it at the same way you would catch a football, but you have to really narrow your focus because the object is so much smaller.
With his fingertips.
With his fingertips. Let me tell you something. That really goes to show you what eccentric behavior can do for you. Now he's over 1,000 yards.
3 wide receivers. That was a 3rd flag against Baltimore for 20 yards. Second down. Banks. Good setup. Throws and traffic incomplete. Dangerous throw. Nearly picked off. Lawyer Malloy was right there and was going for what looked to be his 4th interception. And that brings up 3rd down.
They messed with the wrong guy that time. Lawyer Malloy is a player. Lawyer Malloy will break on the football. Look at this. That ball is actually going to drop right into the receiver's pocket. That's an awesome throw. But look at Lawyer Malloy. It's not pass interference. Takes the left hand, goes over to the proper position, and knocks it down. Lawyer Malloy is a player.
Leads the team in tackles, and he's also vocal. But he told us, you know what, I can't hold everybody's hand. You have to be a professional. Banks throws on a knee, incomplete. Ishmael, the intended receiver. Serwanga playing some good defense the last couple of weeks. And that brings up 4th down in a punting situation. And guess who's back? Troy Brown, Mr. Explosive.
People are already starting to stand up and applaud Troy Brown. They were also screaming here a few minutes ago, looking up at the owner's box, chanting, "Sign Troy Brown." Let's see if Troy can do it again.
Kyle Richardson, the kick, tries to kick away from Brown, takes it at the 38. And wrestled down around the 42-43 yard line. 5 wideouts. Bledsoe from the shotgun. 1st down and a 7-point lead. And the pocket, what was left of it, breaks in half. Jamie Sharper bringing the heat, number 55. 2-minute warning. New England by 7. 59 remains before halftime. Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots up 10-3 over Baltimore. A very red-hot Baltimore team. They've won 4 in a row and 6 of their last 8. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, join Jim, Craig, Randy, Jerry as they get you caught up on all the scores and the highlights. Plus, Mr. Gumbel and Phil Simms preview the Dolphins-Redskins game. That's a few minutes coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report.
I want you to figure out the color of the shirt that coach is wearing.
Shovel pass, Lamont Warren. To Pete Carroll, if he's going to lose the job, I mean, there's some trickery going on today.
No, there's a great play on the touchdown. Nice shovel pass invented by my man, Tom Landry. Back in my day, you know, in the mid-70s, the shovel pass was invented. That's excellent use of it there. It's a play you don't see a lot. Most coaches figure it's very, very dangerous.
That's a way, yeah, it is dangerous. It's a way to slow down the defense who's coming strong at you.
It's like a hybrid draw.
Coates hit, still on his feet. Coates makes a cut and gets the 1st down at the 34. Clock running. Bullwinner made the tackle, but Ben Coates took a shot. And he, like somebody shot him.
Yeah, but look at him. You think he cares? And this is a guy who wasn't used this year.
12-yard pass play, first down. New England, Bledsoe from the shotgun. In the pocket, throws, far sideline on a string, incomplete. Nope. Out of bounds, the call. Sean Jefferson could not get both feet down. Dwayne Starks, the cover man.
Well, someone should be arrested for Ben Coates not being utilized in this offense. Like the Massachusetts State Police should figure out who's to blame and arrest him.
Just drive right on the field.
Just drive right on the field. Right at the end of halftime.
Coates with 2 catches and 35 yards. You're never coming back to Boston.
Never.
Bledsoe has to hurry. Incomplete. And off the hands of Warren. Good look at Lamont Warren, 6-year pro out of Colorado, signed as a free agent this past season. 44 ticks remain on the first half clock. Third down at 10. From the shotgun again. Bledsoe. Throws. It's Coates. Trying to jump out of a tackle, but taken down at the 33 after a gain of 1. Deron Jenkins able to get the big man down. And now a 4th down for New England.
Well, that time they had Ben Coates lined up at a glorified fullback position in the backfield. He blocked for a little while. Once he saw his quarterback was in trouble, he slipped out into the flat and was a nice outlet. Fans are booing because the clock is ticking down and ticking away as we'll end this first half.
Quick timeout. They're going to try the field goal. 3 seconds left. And let me remind you, last week, the reliable Adam Vinatieri struggled taking on the Bills, missing 2 late field goals. 6 seconds in the game, Vinatieri missing from 33, wide right. That would have won the game. Overtime, misses a 44-yarder. It just falls short. And the Bills went on to win that game in overtime.
Boy, that hurt. Those are moments you will never forget. And on that second kick, you could tell that he was just so careful with his accuracy that he didn't put enough oomph on the kick. You know, sometimes the hardest shot is the toughest. You know, the easier shots, I should say, are the toughest one to hit because everyone expects you to hit. It's like missing a 2-foot putt.
Well, this will be from 52.
This is no 2-foot putt.
No. His longest, Beasley 46. And now a little freeze time. Yeah. Baltimore burns the timeout to let Mr. Vinatieri think about it from 52. 3 seconds remain before halftime.
As long as this season, you said 46?
46.
Okay. Kind of lets us know where we are. But it puts us in the correct position on the probability chart.
You notice the kicker just shakes his head once in a while, walks around, looks really at no one.
Well, he has a pre-shot routine just like a golfer. There are things that he wants to visualize the placement, visualize his step into the ball, visualize the flight of the ball. You know, he wants to kick this kick 10, 15 times before he actually physically kicks it.
Bartram, who caught that touchdown, the long snapper, Lee Johnson. The punter is the holder, and now Vinatieri again. We'll try from 52. Good kick, long enough from 52. Boy, he erased a bad week from a week ago against Buffalo. Officially 51 yards. And Pete Carroll will take his club into the locker room, leading by 10.
Was Baltimore the hot team, Beasley, coming in with 4 straight wins? Pete Carroll's swan song possibly, but yet it's the emotion in the second quarter shown by Bledsoe and company, and they're up by 10.
Yeah, I think you have to say a lot about Troy Brown and his returns. You have to say A little bit about Drew Bledsoe. I mean, offensively, they haven't really done that much, but they did enough to get a score. I think this was a beautifully designed play. Mike Bartram, the tight end from the other side of the field, number 86, losing every defender for an easy toss from Drew Bledsoe, and that got everybody excited here in the stadium.
Bartram with 2 career touchdowns, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Not a bad average. And Pete Carroll showing some emotion. And we look at the first half numbers. New England by 10. First downs nearly even. Total yards 152 to 101. And the penalties. Baltimore committing 3 for 20. Time of possession, about a minute separates there. Say one stat not shown is just field position. New England starting on their own 44, while Baltimore's had to start up back under 26.
Yeah, and that's the Troy Brown factor. So Troy Brown so far for New England, considering both teams, Troy Brown gets the game ball up to this point.
Vinatieri kicks after just booting that 51-yarder to end the first half. Corey Harris at the goal line for Baltimore. Kicks it outside to the 30. Flag thrown at the 29. And some greetings of New Year cheer exchanged across the way.
I'm sure that's what they were talking about. You know, I get so tired of the penalties on the kicks. But it was explained to me by a special teams coach that that's the only segment of the game that you don't practice full speed. It's too dangerous. Nobody ever lines up and runs full speed kickoff practice, you know, coverage in practice. So that's the reason you get the penalties.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Outside on the kicking team, number 98 will be disregarded. Holding receiving team, number 88, occurred after the change of possession. By rule, Baltimore retains after enforcement of their penalty, 10 yards, first down.
So you have to be an attorney to be an official. You have to be used to reading law books.
Phil Luckett sorting things out for us. And so after all that, Baltimore will have a 1st and 10. And they will begin this drive.
And here's a look. This farthest guy out here is the one accused of holding. And there it is, just at the end. I think he was called for impeding the forward progress of the return coverer.
Big story in the first half. Usually Priest Holmes was hot. 8 carries for 46 yards, but Baltimore went away from him. Only 1 carry in the second quarter for 4 yards.
Isn't that something? See, most teams self-scout. You know, they chart so they know who's hot. Sometimes you can lose a guy. You don't realize that Priest Holmes is put on the show, and you go away from him and just start throwing every down.
Flags are down. 1st and 10 from the 13.
Chuck Evans, the ball carrier.
Evans, the ball carrier, just off the left tackle. But flags again down.
Offside defense, number 55. It's a 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Willie McGinnis called for offsides. First flag thrown against New England. But what a career McGinnis has had. 38.5 career sacks, 6th year in the league, number 1 pick out of USC back in '94. First and 5, Baltimore. They're down 10. Long snap count by Tony Banks. Stands, throws, connects at the 19-yard line. And to the 25 goes Priest Holmes. Ted Johnson makes the tackle.
So you bring up Priest Holmes, and there he is, making a big first down. This Baltimore Ravens team has never had a winning season as the move to Baltimore. And so that's really what should be motivating these players, and I believe it is. I believe that they will play a little bit better in this second half. They are trying to have the first winning season in franchise history.
Holmes to the 29. So now they're going back to their instant offense player in the first quarter. Now you go back and talk about their record, 8-7. A lot of teams would be disappointed, but yet for this Baltimore franchise, those 8 wins happen to represent a franchise record. They started 2-5.
Yeah, see, that's the thing to consider. And the philosophies of Brian Billick finally started to catch on. You know, new offense, new defense, new whole thing, new head coach. And so I think you should look at the way they're playing second half of the season.
Big hole. Holmes first down. Baltimore to the 39. Right up the gut behind Jeff Mitchell and Jeff Blackshear.
Now, is this Priest Holmes again? Is this the invisible one, the one that kind of has been putting on a show? Look at the cutback. He does that so well, and he does it almost every time he runs the football. Starts one direction, bends it back the other. They haven't stopped him yet.
10 carries for 61 yards. Holmes again, squirts through, puts a hand down, and picks up that extra yard to the 47. Brandon Mitchell.
Same move, same play. Starts to the right, finds a little hole, and jumps on the inside of it.
Offensive front, you look at Baltimore, Mulatalo, Mitchell, Blackshear, Lindsey, Jonathan Ogden. Ogden, the 3-time Pro Bowler. There's a good look at Blackshear. 57 straight starts at that right guard for Blackshear. Second down, short. Another first down, and guess who? I mean, it's simple. It's me against you. Priest Holmes, past midfield to the 48. Ted Johnson, again, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle.
You know, these are two teams literally moving in opposite directions. Take a look at Baltimore across the top as they improved through the season. And then New England, this is the one that really makes you sad. I mean, to get through 8 games at 6-2 and to be standing at 7-8 right now, that is what you call a collapse.
First and 10. Holmes slides out of a tackle, picks up 2 to the 46. Teddy Bruschi, part of that old desert swarm down at Arizona, makes a tackle. But what a defense they had. 52 all-time sacks at Arizona. He tied Derek Thomas, who's the great backer for Kansas City, NCAA record. Johnson in motion, second down to the sideline. Johnson dives, makes the catch at the 44. And the clock will continue to run. The pickup of 2. McGinnis chased him down.
That is an example of an offense just clicking. It's an all-out blitz coming from the New England Patriots. Tony Banks and company sees it, makes the 3-step drop adjustment, completes the pass.
Tony Banks will have some decisions to make in the offseason. He becomes an unrestricted free agent. He told us yesterday, you know, he feels comfortable here, but yet he has to do the business thing. Baltimore 1 of 5 on third downs. Over the middle, complete in traffic, tough throw. And on his back is Banks. Ishmael was the intended receiver. Phillips back on coverage, the left corner. And so that will bring up fourth down in a punting situation for the Ravens.
Tony Banks was under pressure that time, but really a dangerous throw that he put up there. They are lucky that it wasn't intercepted by New England.
Kyle Richardson, one of the better punters in the National Football League, averaging today just under 47 yards a kick, his longest from 53. And he's tough inside the 20. Flags are down on the run. Is taken by Brown. And Troy Brown tackled at the 34, but a flag at the 25.
You know what? That was amazing by Troy Brown. Troy Brown covers about 15 or 20 yards to catch that ball. That's the kind of effort that saves your team tremendous field position. You let that ball bounce because you don't have the courage to make the tough catch, and it might bounce to the 1-yard line.
Here's Phil Luckett.
Holding receiving team number 41. The foul occurred during the kick. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
So a timeout, 9:51 to play in the third quarter. Brown having himself a day, and we'll be back. Welcome back to Foxborough. Craig Buller, Jack Beasley Reese with you on the 17th week of the National Football League. 1st and 10. Bledsoe and company up by 10. They start on the ground, trying to work themselves a bit out of a hole. Well, Saturday on CBS, join Dick Clark for the biggest game show in TV history from the creator of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Don't miss Winning Lines. Premiere Saturday right here on CBS. The ever-young Dick Clark.
Ever young. And with a new show about money.
Winning Lines.
See, we want to talk about the athletes when everybody wants to make a bunch of cash.
Second down, Age. And Bledsoe finds Troy Brown, who someday said, you know what, when this is all said and done, I like to coach. And the way he plays,
yeah,
he'd be a good one.
Well, you have to listen to a man who's successful.
There's another late round draft pick was Brown in the 8th round back in '93. Let me ask you see Pete Carroll strolling the sideline. Would a win today diffuse any of this talk about?
You know, unfortunately, I happen to be in a minority in that I think that Pete Carroll, when you take a look at who's out there, you have to ask yourself, can I replace this guy with someone who can come in and make an immediate impact? And I really don't think so when I think of the people that are available. Will this win make any difference? I don't think so. I think Bob Kraft will take the owner will take a business view of this. There's an emotional view and a business view. Business view, explain yourself. What happened this year? And if he can come up with a good explanation, who knows?
Well, he told us just flat out, you know what? I got 2 years left on the contract, and my plan is to direct this football team.
Yeah.
But the man looking through the binoculars, maybe it's that guy right there, has the final say.
That's right.
Lee Johnson into punt, his longest of the day, 41 yards, and Jermaine Lewis back at the 35 awaits.
See, I get nervous about anybody losing a job. I don't care if it's a head coach, because you're talking about the families of assistant coaches.
Exactly.
All kinds of people in the organization that also lose their job who don't have million-dollar contracts like a head coach.
Lee Johnson, the 15-year-old leg, still can kick it. To the 31, a beauty. 39-yarder, and we'll be back. Well, a cool day, now sunny. Came from Baltimore to see, was it the Ravens?
Yeah.
9-7.
Get to 9-7. That's what my man is saying out there.
Now, right now, the Ravens down by 10, 13-3, New England. Start this drive at their own 31-yard line. Single puncher, and he goes down. Forced the fumble, and Eaton at 6'5", 300, rumbled in for 6.
Chad Eaton's in the middle of your field. There's a great blitz and knockdown by Johnson. The ball literally comes out as Tony Banks tried to pull it back in. Tony was raising it up to throw, and then Chad Eaton, a 300-pounder with the highlight of his life.
Vinatieri will try the point after a 23-yard return. And Vinatieri kicks it up and through. Boy, Pete Carroll started the day grim-faced. He's got smiles now. Banks sandwiched. Loose ball, and it's a lineman's dream. Go big fella. Chad Eaton races in for 6. Well, all the criticism, all the shadows of doubt hanging over this franchise. New England playing loose. Pete Carroll and his guys up now 20-3 after the recovery and a touchdown run by Eaton. Harris at the 1. Harris maybe to the 20. But it is renewed life right now in New England.
You know, when you ask yourself what happened to a franchise, you got to look at the influx of talent. What has Carroll had to work with? Well, the last 28 players drafted from 97 to 99, 22 of them are back up, are off the team. And take a look down the road. You know, we know that this was a great pick, this Robert Edwards, but he's injured. Tabucky Jones picked in 98. Tabucky Jones is being played out in the wrong position. I've been waiting for years to say this. The guy's a safety or an offensive running back. Tabucky Jones is starting, though, at corner.
He's got the size of a free safety. Don't forget, he was a running back at one time at Syracuse. Over-the-shoulder catch at the 41-yard line, and it's a beauty taken down by Johnson.
Now, it really gets weird when you take a look at how Bill Parcells is like an evil word around this building. But, you know, look at how he did when he was drafting. 93, he brought in Bledsoe, Sam Shea. These are great players. Troy Brown putting on the show today. Go to 94, look at Willie McGinnis. 95, Ty Law, considered by many one of the best corners in the league. Curtis Martin, also one of the top running backs in the league.
Sideline, out of bounds again. Johnson and Banks. Chris Slade chased him out.
So organizationally, you got to say, what has this coach been given to play with? And let me show you down here. This was a big fight between Parcells and this organization. He really didn't want Terry Glenn. Terry Glenn is suspended today
For not fitting in because of flu-like symptoms, would not go to the doctor.
So I rest my case.
There's another chapter. I want to ask you also, too, about the situation with Vice President of Personnel. Flags it out. Priest Holmes breaks it past the 35 up to the 33-yard line. Flags are down. But here's the problem. You got Bob Kraft, the owner, and you've got Pete Carroll, the head coach. But in between, you got the Vice President of Personnel, Bobby Greer, who went on local radio and basically said, hey, guys, there's nothing wrong with the draft picks. It's how we're playing them and when and how.
Defense number 92. The penalties decline. The result of the play is a first down.
Now, the Boston Globe jumped in with a very interesting article who says, you know what, it's come down to survival of the fittest. Some players, and Beasley, you've been in this pro game, some players are going to what they call BG, which is Bobby Greer when they got complaints. They don't go to the head coach. They go to the Vice President of Personnel. Banks play action, throws out of the backfield. Caught, complete. And a hard hit. Chuck Evans makes the catch, but hangs on. Zerwanga.
Well, the points you bring up there about the relationship between the head coach and the general manager, Bobby Greer, are very, very interesting because even with this last Terry Glenn suspension, there's some question as to who knew about what was going to be done. So I don't know. That's, if you're going to change a coach, you change it because the organization is a mess. And there are some things happening right now that would insinuate that times are a little ragged around here.
Blitz coming. Banks reads it. Priest Holmes dishing out the lick at the 21. Priest Holmes having himself a game. Zerwanga again on the tackle. That's the way that Walter Payton ran. Walter Payton dished the hit, never took one.
Yeah, believe me, I know. Look at this. Priest Holmes has been like terrorizing the Patriots. Right at the end, he says, okay, you want some of this?
Under 6 minutes left, third quarter, a fast-moving quarter. Baltimore trying to work their offense. 1st and 10 from the 22. Incomplete. Johnson, the intended receiver around the shoe tops, couldn't hang on. When you talk about Tony Banks, his maturity, you know, he told us his goals in this final game was got to have the run and pass, balance it out. I've got to throw underneath that you mentioned. And he wants the offense to become second nature.
Yeah, this is only his 10th game in this offense, and not all of those weeks as a starter.
2nd down and 10. Ishmael on the blitz reads. He was the hot read into the 15-yard line. They'll bring up 3rd down and short.
That was Mr. Gadget, Inspector Gadget. Kadri, once known as the Missile Ishmael, using his gadgets to improve his hand-and-eye coordination.
You know, talking to him, I get the feeling he'd be the type of guy that would say to himself, go Gadget. I'm surprised he doesn't load springs in the cleats. I mean, what an interesting guy.
He is really a different young man.
Dedicated to the game.
In a very positive way.
Yes. 3rd down and 3. Banks throws underneath. Catch. Evans, 1st down. And Bruschi made the tackle.
Baltimore first down.
Let me throw another thing in here about Tony Banks. We talked about him, and I said, you know what? What's the separator? Why are you an NFL player when all these other guys play quarterback or not? He said confidence has always been his separator. And then this year, he found Christ. And he says he memorizes a couple of scriptures, and when a game gets tough, he repeats them to himself, and it gives him peace.
Banks sidesteps trouble, fires a dart, flags reaching in, touchdown to Long. Hold on, a flag.
There's a flag on the play.
And you can tell by the reaction of Tony Banks is coming back.
Pass interference, offense, number 85. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 1st down.
Well, DeLong caught it, but he also was whistled for pass interference.
Well, he did something wrong. He did something illegal. I don't know what, but he did something wrong. You know, sometimes you grab a linebacker. Okay, let's see if we can figure out what he did wrong. A couple of things you can't do. You can't hold people, and you can't push off when you're trying to get free. There he is. See him push. See him shove that linebacker out of the way. My crack teammates here at CBS found that for you.
1st and 20. Ishmael in motion. Banks, 5-step drop. Lazy pass over the middle. Guess who? Priest Holmes trying to spin to the far side, but was tracked down at the 16 by Bruschi. And Banks getting up slow.
Let's see if we can find out what happened to Tony Banks at the end of this play.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was close. There wasn't enough bend there to be a real injury, but boy, that was close. Lock that leg straight, and then somebody hit you, and it could be dangerous.
3.5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. 17-point lead for New England. Priest Holmes squeezing some yards off the left side to the 11. Henry Thomas made the tackle, and you can see Banks trying to shake off that low hit. He was injured, remember, strangely enough, in the final game in a Rams uniform a year ago.
Yeah, he's going to start having a Patriots phobia. He's against the Patriots. That injury that you're talking about last year.
3rd down and 10 from the 11.5-yard line. Banks sets up, throws for the touchdown. Intercepted. Kanto Sawanga, the left corner who had an incredible performance a week ago against Buffalo with 16 tackles and his first career sack, comes up with a pick.
This is a mistake that a quarterback cannot make in the red zone. When your team has an opportunity to score, you can't throw this high ball.
Welcome back to Foxborough. Craig Bolerjack, Beasley Reese, Brian Billick has challenged this call, Beasley.
Well, he wants to know if it's a touchdown or not, so let's go through all of the rules. There is the overthrow, and here's your defensive back in full extension. What hits the ground first is the question. I think the elbow and knee hit the ground. See, the question is, did he have control of the ball? Did he land on the white stuff, which would be out of bounds first? Maybe this angle. Slow it down, guys, if you can. Oh, great job in the truck. And see, you can't tell. We can't tell if he landed on the white or not.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The ball was intercepted. The elbow was down. Baltimore is charged a timeout. Timeout, Baltimore.
Well, Banks throws his 8th interception, and Serwanga with his 3rd pick of the season.
Well, here's the one, and I want my guys to stop it when the elbow hits the turf. The right elbow of the extended athlete is going to touch the ground first, and we can see it right there. Oh, you guys are putting on a show. Beautiful job. That elbow ends the play as he catches it, has control, and then rolls out of bounds.
Beasley, you see the emotion from Pete Carroll. This team could have easily quit. Easily.
They could have melted in. Pete Carroll deserves a great pat on the back for keeping his guys together for one last stand. Maybe it won't be a last stand.
Let's go with a 17-point lead. Jerry Allen, the ball carrier. You know, you would think up 20-3. Clock running.
Well, this defense is so good. This front defense. Well, let's take a look at what's happening for Mr. Tony Banks. They are, I believe, re-wrapping that knee. I think I saw something on that leg before the game started. So now his backup is Stony Case, a young man who started the year as a starter and showed some flashes. And they say that in practice, he's a very young player. He is starting to really mature.
Headed to Mexico. Bledsoe throws incomplete. Boy, nearly on target to Vincent Brisby. Dwayne Starks, a very highly thought of right corner on coverage.
There's a comparison of your quarterbacks. 11 for 20 for Bledsoe, 18 to 25. Kind of close, more yards for Banks. But you got your touchdown and an interception. Interception going in Banks' column, and that's the difference in the game.
Bledsoe needs 123 total passing yards today. He's to reach the 4,000 club again. Bledsoe throws, hooks it up. Troy Brown. Fumble was a whistle. Everybody chasing on the pile down to the 17. And that brings up 4th down. And that brings on Lee Johnson. Banks is up, rewrapped, still a little ginger on that left knee.
Baltimore's offense gets away with it from help from the defense. Now they should have good field position.
Lee Johnson, the left footer. Big boot to the 33. Cut down at the 42. 51-yard kick by the 38-year-old Lee Johnson. My, oh my. We'll be back. Say, this is a rarity right now this year in Foxborough. Patriot fans actually up and having some fun. They haven't had this much fun since week 3.
These are good fans. This guy still made a sign. Yeah, these are great fans.
Bumble, flat. Missed snap between Mitchell and Banks.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 64. 5-yard penalty remains, 1st down.
Actually, it was Mulatalo, the left guard, who pulled away. Well, Monday on CBS begins with the King of Queens, starring Kevin James and Jerry Stiller, followed by Ladies Man. Then it's Monday's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, and Becker, starring Ted Danson, plus the most noteworthy and accomplished women of the year on the Ladies Home Journal special. That's Monday right here on CBS. Banks in trouble. Down he goes. And Ted Johnson, who's been very busy defensively. And you know what? Basically, Beasley, Banks is not mobile right now. He cannot move.
No, he's not. And you know what? The coaching staff for Baltimore have got to realize that he's not himself right now. Here's a real good look at it. One good pickup block, but one totally missed by. And Tony you can just tell that Tony can't take off running out of the pocket. Just watch how he works his feet here.
That didn't feel good, I'll tell you that.
No, then he had a guy fall on top of him.
7 tackles for Johnson, 2 sacks for the middle linebacker. Looks like play clock wound down to 0.
Prior to the snap.
Delay of game.
Delay of game.
Yep.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Now we saw Baltimore last week against Cincinnati. They got the 5 field goals from Stover. And there were some questions about maybe the offense not clicking all that well. Banks couldn't really get much done inside the red zone. And today it's been a stagnant offense. Again. Second down, 25 to the flat. Incomplete. Right on the hands of Priest Holmes. That stops the clock with 21 seconds remaining, third quarter. And again, Banks slow to get up.
Yeah, I think Tony Banks is trying to fake the coaching staff out. You know, act like he's not hurt as best he can. Trying to walk off a little sting somewhere. But you're right about this offense. This offense has struggled all year. I mean, and Coach Billick told us when we met him, he knew when he took over the team, the defense would be one of the best in the league because they're very talented there. And that the offense would struggle to get anything done. And that's exactly what has happened throughout the season and here today.
Third down and half a mile. Banks sacked again. Henry Thomas coming through, number 95. And that brings up fourth down as Banks will hop and skip off this turf to end the third quarter. And that ends the third quarter here in Foxborough. New England leading Baltimore 20-3. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, medical staff discussing with Tony Banks. Their concern is that left knee. The helmet's off. They've rewrapped it on that series before. Richardson with a high kick. Pedaling back. Troy Brown inside the 20. Troy Brown breaks a tackle and then is pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Corey Harris with the special teams tackle. Next Sunday, it's conference crunch time when Shane Battier sparks Coach K's Duke Blue Devils against the Maryland Terrapins. That's on CBS, home of the men's NCAA basketball championship. Number 8 against the number 16. Here it's Drew Bledsoe. And you see his numbers, Beasley, again, struggling with the arm of 12 of 21, 83 yards. But he got the short touchdown. But it's not the Drew Bledsoe that we've come to know.
The difference in this game is basically turnovers. Baltimore's got 3, and New England has none.
Terry Allen wrapped up immediately by the Pro Bowler Michael McCrary.
When it comes to total yards in the contest, Baltimore with 247 to New England's 107. Mike McCrary is a guy that anybody would like to have as a teammate. He really hustles. I mean, basically, he's lucky there. The running back decided to run outside to his area. But Mike McCrary is not lucky when it comes to his 11.5 sacks. Boy, what a motor. He's really high-energy guy.
Boy, 46.5 sacks over 53 games. That's the most in the National Football League. Into the late handoff. Lamont Warren coming off the right side. On the 31, Ray Lewis, who has been kind of quiet today, makes the tackle. 24 years young. Out of Miami, number 1 pick back in '96. And his edge, he consumes film.
Yeah, that's his separator. That's what separates Ray Lewis from the regular linebackers. He's an all-pro linebacker. But the regular linebackers don't watch as much film. They don't study as hard. And that's true throughout life. There your numbers are.
Bledsoe out of the backfield. Little dump off pass. Caught. Pulled down. Run on one. First down. New England at the 40-yard line. Herring and Starks made the tackle. Ron Warren, 6-year pro out of Colorado. They like to use him a lot out of the backfield as a pass receiver. first down. Bledsoe walks up behind center. Time on his side. They're up 17. Crashing into the pile and then bouncing out as Allen doesn't get far as Michael McCrary again makes the stop. Got a big game last week. 9 tackles, 2.5 sacks against the Bengals. And there's Beasley. Tony Banks looking on.
Yeah, he's got a strained left knee and his return is questionable. And so you must figure that we're going to get Stony Case. Although Stoney's just sitting on the bench. He's not exactly up warming up like he's about to go in the game.
I saw him throw a few passes to Scott Mitchell. Bledsoe throws it while he was going down, and flags come out now late. And guess who was bringing heat? McCrary. Bledsoe trying to plead his case as Billick looks on.
Yeah, but Drew shouldn't beg for that when you're falling almost on the ground.
There was no foul for intentional grounding. Number 22 was in the area.
Boy, pled his case and won.
Defense number 25.
I don't know.
5 yards for automatic first down.
I don't know how Drew got away with that.
And then you get holding against Baltimore.
I mean, Drew was almost on the ground when he threw it.
He's been hurried and sacked and bothered all day.
Yeah.
.59 remaining, fourth quarter. 1st and 10 from the 45. Floyd Brown in motion. They go to Brown. He's in blue flicker. Dodgers traffic, throwing the deep ball off the grabs. Knocked down. That ball was a hanger. Kim Herring able to bat it down. And let's go to New York City. Jim Nantz with an NFL update. Jim.
All right, guys, Indianapolis with an 11-game win streak, certainly more than in jeopardy as Rob Johnson finds Collins and Buffalo leads by 22 with 12.5 to play. And let's go back to New England.
What a job by Buffalo.
Huh?
Well, when you have the best defense in the league, you have a magical quarterback, a fun football team. These guys are going to be 11-5. Is that awesome?
Harold Shaw, the ball carrier, third-string fullback.
You know, on the look at the end of this play, look at the wide receiver pulling down on a defender, but we just can't get an offensive pass interference. You know, as a former defensive guy, I just don't understand it. It's not fair.
There's Troy Brown, who showed off a little bit of arm. That was what you call rainbow.
Yeah.
On the day, 5 catches, 19 yards. Brown has made his impact, though, on kick and punt return. Blitz is coming. They pick it up. Bledsoe throws. Oh, that's a beauty. Little spinner at the catch by Vincent Brisby. The 7-year pro out of Northeast Louisiana. Dwayne Starks made the tackle.
Oh, this is a throw and catch, my friends. Now, first of all, the quarterback has to throw this ball low and away because Brisby is well covered. So Brisby, since it's thrown low and away, has got to make just a major league NFL. I'm a professional catch. This is not your average backyard catch. Don't go outside and have a catch and try to do this. Oh, that's beautiful.
You wear gloves.
You know, I did at times. It really did. There's new material. See that little bright spot underneath the palm part of his glove? There's new stuff.
Bledsoe going deep down the sideline. McAllister, the left corner.
The rookie.
Out of Arizona, their #1 pick. And Bledsoe hearing the boos. That ball got away from him. He was looking out there for Sean Jefferson.
Well, here's my feeling on this. I think the great quarterbacks today are throwing it up high and saying, my athlete will get it, yours will not. This time, Drew Bledsoe was wrong.
The Tony Banks will set this one out. Stony Case out of New Mexico in his 5th season steps in. 1st and 10 at the 2-yard line. Case sets and throws complete. That quiets the crowd. Breaking is Patrick Johnson. Past the 30 to the 31-yard line. That's a pickup of 29. Chris Slade made the tackle.
Now, just to let you know something about Stoney. Stoney is he's a very interesting story. Played at Odessa Permian, and that, if you read the book Friday Night's Lights, that's where he played. That's his life. Football from birth. Was a stud star down in that Texas legendary football area. He's a winner.
Boy, breaks him out of a deep hole. 1st and 10 from the 31. I formation. 3 wide receivers. Play action. Case stands up in that pocket, throws up a rainbow, and nearly picked. And you know what? Collapsing is Tony George, and I don't blame him.
Tony said, oh man, this is like a freebie. This is like a after Christmas sale. Oh man, see, he was so concerned about hitting the receiver, and suddenly he saw a free ball. By George.
Just off the fingertip. I think Justin Armour maybe got his finger on the tip. Stops the clock with 9:27 remaining in the 4th. 2nd down 10. Priest, Holmes, buried. Henry Thomas was there.
I talked earlier about what a crazy football season that this has been this year. Look at it. Denver, Super Bowl champs, missed the playoffs. Atlanta, Super Bowl opponent, missed playoffs. Jets, AFC champ, missed playoffs. Arizona, wildcard team, missed playoffs. San Francisco, wildcard team forever, missed playoffs. New England, a wildcard team. This season has been wild, and I've heard a lot of fans complaining about mediocrity and, the teams that they expect to be winners not being winners. A lot of fans have not liked this season. Particularly those teams we just showed.
Well, that's the heavies, the heavyweights. Now you're talking Colts. Now you're talking Rams.
We're seeing a changeover.
Yeah.
Prior to the snap,
right before your eyes.
Start, offense number 61. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
The Cowboys' dominance. The Steelers are in disarray.
No. Now it's New England. I mean, it's Indianapolis. It's Tampa Bay.
Up-and-comer right here, Baltimore.
Baltimore for the future. We are watching the transformation. I think that the Brian Billets of the world are going to take over when it comes to the influential big-name coaches. We're watching it change right before our eyes.
Stony Case on the rollout. 3rd down, deep ball, strong arm, down the sideline, little push and shove, and now the flags come out. Well, one was pushing, one was shoving, one was grabbing. It was Billups hanging on Johnson, Johnson hanging on Billups.
You know what? Now, I have 2015 vision, so I can't be wrong on this.
Pass interference, defense number 23. That's an automatic. 1st down.
Stony Case, Craig, threw this ball 70 yards in the air. Well, you make your call there. I mean, clearly the defender was behind him. He was beaten, harassing him from the back, and you're going to get called for a penalty on that.
Was that a catchable football?
No. Well, we don't know because the guy was messing with him. You hear that for a technical analysis term.
Ishmael in motion. They set up the screen. Dropped in the arms of Holmes. Now a little extracurricular push and shove. New Year's greetings all the way around. That's McGinnis, one of the fierce competitors around, having some words with Blackshear.
But I'm telling you something about football. I would fight Blackshear in a football uniform. You can't. What are you going to do? Where are you going to hit him?
You know what, though? Everyone always, really, a football fight, as long as you got the helmet strapped on, there's not much you can do.
That's
to
my
one another.
point.
Except break a hand.
Yeah, I'd fight the biggest guy on the field in a football, because first of all, they're going to break it up before anything happens. So I used to act bad.
You were the baddest guy out there.
Oh, I was so bad, man, I'd tear you up.
2nd down, Case. Pocket. falls a punt, and Stony Case takes his seat back at the 35. Varick Collins from that left end. Brought the heat, 6'7", 300-pounder.
Well, New England is to be congratulated. These guys, defensively, they're putting up a great effort. Offense, they're coming up with what they have to do in order to put points on the board.
It is now third down. And 18.
Fifth sack by New England's defense. Thomas with a pair. Ted Johnson also with a pair. Third down. Shotgun. Stony Case. Blitz coming. Close. Sideline. Ishmael makes a catch and is covered up at the 29. And let's go back to Jim Nantz at our New York studios for the NFL update. Jimmy.
All right, thank you, Craig. It's been a wild day at Kansas City, and the Chiefs have come back to take the lead on a Gerback pass to Joe Horn. The feet are down, but Oakland has the football inside the 5 and driving again on the Chiefs. Let's go back to you.
All right, thanks, Jim. You know, you talk about a strange season. Kansas City's had one as well. Yeah. Elvis Gerback and the guys.
Well, if they win, they're in. Beautiful position to be in.
Blitz. Case. Hit and dropped at the 41. Here comes Lawyer Malloy. Get a lawyer because he hit you hard.
It's a shut Case. As an opening shot by a lawyer, Malloy.
You know, he was very outspoken in that locker room saying, guys, I'm tired of talking. I can't hold to everybody's hand. Well, one player absent from New England's arsenal is Terry Glenn, and at a press conference Thursday, head coach Pete Carroll explained why he suspended Terry Glenn for today's ballgame.
I hope that the actions that we took will help this guy, this young man, understand where he fits and where he sits right now with fitting into a team, and hopefully in the long run, in the future, this will make sense and it'll help him comply with working with the team.
And there's a look at this. Some of the injuries that Terry Glenn has gone through throughout his career.
Patriots staying on the ground. Boy, what a bowling ball is Harold Shaw. 6-footer, 228-pounder. Up to midfield.
And Terry Glenn this time got in trouble because he has the flu, but he wouldn't come in and get treatment. Didn't play last week. So you take a look at some of the games and some of the things that have happened to him physically over the years. And then here's the convincer for me. Believe me, I would be on Terry Glenn's side. You don't question a man's injury. But when your own teammates who are in the locker at practice, they know the kind of person you are. When your own teammates talk out against you, now I have to say, okay, well, maybe there's something Terry Glenn needs to look in the mirror and discuss with himself.
Harold Shaw again, the ball carrier, picks up a couple. You know, going back to Terry Glenn, and it's a discussion that a lot of Patriot fans continue to talk about. Parcells, the Carroll era. Parcells was trying to shy away from this guy.
Yeah, he really did. He wanted a defensive player. I mean, he wasn't totally convinced about Terry. And remember the big joke because he called him a girl or something. Parcells did.
Ooh,
yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
That was early on. It was kind of a joke and not politically correct, and probably coach shouldn't have done that, but he did. And that was a big thing because he said he was missing too many practices and that type of thing.
Brisbee in motion. Again, the ball carrier, Harold Shaw, maybe got back up to the 46-yard line. Clock running. That brings up third down. Prairie and Cornell Brown make the tackle.
And I tell you something else as I finish up the Terry Glenn story. Terry Glenn probably said to himself, man, you're not coming back. Well, who knows?
But you know what? It's also
Pete Carroll might be coming back.
And B's, it's another extension of the problems between the VP of personnel, Bobby Greer, who says, no, I wasn't notified. It was basically Coach Pete Carroll's decision. You know, there was a day when a coach had the control. He had the button.
When it comes to who plays.
Little dump off, complete. 1-on-1. Close to the first down. From our vantage point, about a yard shy. Terrell Peters made the tackle. Crowd wants Carroll and company to go for it, but that brings in a punting unit.
Well, the crowd's not looking at the scoreboard right now. They don't realize that their team is up 20-3. And there's no reason to be doing anything wild.
Lee Johnson, 4 punts, 43-yard average. His longest, 50. Jermaine Lewis back to receive inside his 10-yard line. Well, this guy's been around a long time. It's still very, very effective. Good snap. Left footer gets it away. Skies it high. Off the side of his foot. And takes a bounce at the 30. Well, just when you compliment a player, how many times does it happen?
You know, you shouldn't do that to Lee Johnson.
10-yard punt. We'll be back. Well, you compliment a guy, and what happens?
Yeah, after this first play, I'm going to do my Craig Bolerjack imitation.
You've been laughing for 2 minutes. 10-yarder. Oh, boy. Stony Case in the lead. Ball batted up, incomplete.
Okay, now this is Beasley Reed, says Craig Bolerjack.
This guy's tremendous. So many years fantastic in Cincinnati. That Lee Johnson, he's on the, watch the
Uh-oh, 10-yard punt. We'll be back.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Thanks a lot, Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Lee.
Oh, my. 3:49 fourth quarter. New England all here in the second half. Second down at 10. Stony Case to the flat. And Evans ran out of bounds by Slade. We'll compare the two halves. Ravens 152 to 120. Patriots falling off in that second half, but yet with a 20-3 lead. Third down and 4. Case, good protection, throws and hooks it up. That's Patrick Johnson trying to pick up more yardage, and he picks up the first to the 41. Teddy Bruschi.
You know, the Ravens are a team on the move, regardless of how they are playing today. And they've got some problems, though, this offseason. They've got some decisions to make. All of these guys are free agents, probably their #1 concern. And Tony Banks told me that the team has already contacted his agent. But behind him is Stony Case, who's playing right now, who's also a free agent. You got Cadre, who's got over 1,000 yards this season. So they've got some people. They've got to keep their core people to continue to improve.
Case throws it off. Oh, what a catch. Inside the 40, Justin Armour. There's another guy out of Stanford.
Yeah, he's on the free agent list that we just showed you. So this is a team that has a chance. They've got cap money. They haven't mortgaged the future like San Francisco is in trouble now. Dallas is about to be in trouble because these are teams that mortgage their future when it comes to the salary cap to win now.
And Beasley, Brian Billick was very candid with us. So talking about the pie, you're talking about the cap. The cap's for real.
It's
and
real.
guys, if I pay you this much, see your teammate over there? I got to cut it.
He's gone.
He's very businesslike and trying to explain the dollar figures that are out there in the National Football League nowadays. Again, Armour makes the catch. Baltimore trying to put something together late here, under 3 minutes to go.
And that explanation from Brian Billick is one of the reasons that I think his team is doing so well. Everything's on the table. He says that his players just want to know, Coach, what do you expect of me? And they try to give it to him every day.
Case steps up and fires a dart. New England right now, Beast, trying to just play back in that prevent defense.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I know you're about to go against the prevent, but that's a smart thing to do right now. 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes left in the game. Force them to methodically march down the field.
Well, 2:18 remaining. Bledsoe looks on with a 17-point lead. Welcome back. Yep, it's the year 2000. Foxborough. Baltimore with a first down at the 25-yard line. Stony Case swings it out to the flat. Chuck Evans. A pickup of 8 down to the 17.
See, people don't like the prevent defense, but you force that team to, you make sure they don't get anything cheap. Force them to throw balls into the flat and then do a better job than they just did of tackling people.
2-minute warning here in Foxborough. Second down for Stony Case when we come back. Well, 2 minutes remain, and tonight on 60 Minutes, you don't have to root for the Jets or even be a football fan to love the guy who coaches them. Mike Wallace scrimmages with Bill Parcells. Check that out tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by an all-new Touch by an Angel, then go beyond the prairie for the true story of Laura Ingalls Wilder tonight on CBS. Mike Wallace scrimmaging with Parcells.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that one. See who wins on the topic of football.
Second down 2. Case. He may tuck and run. He does. And Case to the 13-yard line. And a first down.
You know, we might get to see an onside kick.
Clock running. 1:39. Case feels pressure. Down he goes. I don't know now. And a timeout. McGinnis, who has played a football game at that right end spot today. 6-year pro out of USC. Well, if there was talk of quit, he did not quit.
No, he didn't get the memo. This guy's just a great player. And, you know, he's that future. This is the 7th sack for New England today. And I think Willie McGinnis is part of the changing of the guard in the NFL. These 260-pound defensive ends. You know, Javon Curse.
Oh, the freak.
We'll call him the freak of nature. Is one of these guys that's 250, 260 that no one can block.
You know, Beasley's about leverage, too. Those guys are so, they get low.
Yeah.
They can drive. They bull rush you.
They're fast. They're faster than the fat 320-pound tackles. That'll get me in trouble with the tackles union.
Well, you're in trouble with Boston,
yeah.
So stack it on. Second down at 21. Shotgun, low snap, Case. Sets, throws, up top, end zone, incomplete. Intended receiver was Andre Ishmael. Serwanga was back on coverage. Stops the clock with 1:30 remaining. Baltimore does not lack arm strength in their quarterback.
No. Case can throw it, and Case really looks sharp today. Tight spiral, and he hasn't played in weeks.
What's the future of Scott Mitchell, the third stringer, who was the #1 guy down in Miami? They all thought would be the next Marino.
Yeah.
Went to Detroit.
I think Scott's going to be looking for a new town because Scott has started in talent. He's not going to be the third string guy here.
3rd and 21 over the middle, and Ishmael takes a shot to the backside. Incomplete. Tony George delivered the lick.
And did you see how Tony George stood over Ishmael and kind of, you know, talk trash to him? That's where the league's taunting rule should come in. That's where the flag should come from. Not from guys dancing in the end zone. Now I'm in trouble with the NFL.
Keep going. Tony George, the rookie out of Florida. He was a 3rd rounder. So Stony Case, 4th down at 22. Pressure, throws.
It's their turn.
Lawyer Malloy. Well, we had a great talk with Lawyer Malloy. He'll be a free agent. Made it pretty clear. You know what, guys? He said, I want to be a champion. I'm tired of holding everybody's hand in the locker room.
Well, this is a beautifully thrown interception. You know, he stepped into it. Beautiful release. Nice rotation. Tight spiral. This Lawyer Malloy was at the end of it.
Well, an all-pro kind of day.
Yeah, he is.
10 tackles, 1 sack, and the interception. A minute 18, clock running.
Well, the guys did a good job for Pete Carroll today. They showed some respect. Because if they didn't want him here, they'd come out here and lay it out. They could have laid an egg egg today, could the Patriots.
And Beasley, that's going to bring up a lot of conversation, talk shows around this, the New England, Boston area, because now you've got Bob Kraft, the owner, with a difficult decision, and you brought it up, emotional versus business.
Yeah, you know, emotional decision is to say, okay, we started 6-2, I'm mad, you're out of here. I think a business decision, you sit down and approach it that way, and you say, now what happened? You know, where did we go wrong? How can you correct this, coach? Why should I retain you? Give him a week or two to put together his plan for the future, and if you like it, keep him.
Well, Baltimore will finish at 500 at 8-8, while New England also finishes at 8-8 on a season that started 6-2. What will be the future of Pete Carroll? Only the next few days, maybe the next week, we'll know for sure. But the Patriots played for Pete Carroll today. So for Beasley Reese, I'm Craig Bullerjack saying so long for Foxborough, where our final score is New England 20 and Baltimore 3.